and welcome to Ciao Bella Leadership, where we work from anywhere. And today I am working from my bed. I have moved into a new apartment and I'm getting situated and settled with all of my working spaces. And right now, my bedroom is my favorite space. So I thought I would record at least a video or two from in here. I get to look down on the commerce of the city and imagine what the stories were like of how that empire came about and that empire came about and so on and so forth. And I can envision where my play pieces will go on the board when I'm in play, and it's fun. It's fun to look at the city from this perspective, which takes me into the topic that I'd like to discuss, which is our visions and our dreams. And I don't mean our dreams that we sleep at night and we wake up and we journal our dreams. Yes, those are important too, and do journal them because they have meaning, and they can help unlock some of the secrets of your life. But what I really mean by visions is what you've imagined for your life, and have you done any of that work to figure out what you truly want in life and what you're working towards. And I ask that because about a year ago, I was at a place in my life where I'm sure others can relate. It was a transition. Everything that I once believed was kind of up on its head, and I was looking at things differently. And it was the moment for me when my children were transitioning from my children to adults, and the empty nesting process as a parent, especially when raising children was the thing that you imagined yourself doing your whole life, right? And so for me, my second memory that I can ever remember is my twin sisters coming home from the hospital, my mom bringing them in the bassinet, and I was so excited that I got real babies to play with as a little girl. I mean, I took that role and responsibility of helping my mom raise my sisters. I took it serious. And it was hard work being the oldest and responsible for helping with your siblings, but I loved it, and I knew at that moment I wanted to be a mom. That was my life purpose, it seemed like, right? And then here it was just a year ago, I was in this mental space of my kids being grown adults and wanting to, when your kids are grown adults and they're trying to do their own adult thing, as a mom, that's beautiful and hard. It's beautiful to watch your children flowering and doing their own thing, and it's also hard to surrender the control because we want the best for our kids, and we think we have all the answers, and they're wanting to go and do their thing just like we wanted to go and do our thing in our time. So as a mom, that was the flip my life upside down on its head moment. And it was challenging because I didn't really know how to move on with my life as a woman, separate from mom. My kids were growing up. I had went through a divorce, so my whole world was upside down. Suddenly, I didn't have a partner, and I didn't have the children in the home that I was raising anymore. It was just this whole new mess of stuff that I was trying to navigate. And to be honest, I wasn't really good with friends. I went to a small town in high school. My mom had to move us to a small town. I grew up in Kansas City most of my life, but during high school I had to move to this small town. My mom needed help raising the kids. My sister had some arm surgeries and things, and anyways, we had to move to the small town where there was family closer to help out. And I was bullied severely in high school, and it wasn't fun. I moved to that small town like the summer before my 8th grade year, I think it was. So I had just been kind of walking around town just for something to do, just walking around the park and things that summer before school started. And two boys pulled up in a truck, if I remember. But anyways, I met them over the summer. I ended up marrying the one guy. He was my first husband. But when I started school, I was already hated before anyone even got to know me. I took one of their guys off the market, apparently. I don't know. I don't know, but they did not like me because of it. And they screamed horrible things to me down the hallways of that high school. Called me a hoe before I'd even had sex, and all sorts of things. So I guess I wasn't very good at making friends. I was good at running from misguided opinions of who I was and crying in my own room and just hoping that life would get better. And I dove into what I wanted to do. You know, they weren't nice to me in that town, and whatever, the couple of boys were nice to me that I met over the summer, so I kind of stuck with that. I started raising my family, left high school early, got a job, started raising babies, got married. I did it all early, like I wanted to. I guess from the time I was 5 and then the babies were brought into the home, I knew that's what I was wanting. So I moved out of my family home at 15, got married at 16, and had my first son 2 weeks before I turned 17. Most people think that's absolutely nuts, but it was so fun for me. That's what I wanted. And, rumors still spread. They were terrifying my ex-husband that because I was having a baby, I was going to have a huge vagina. And, all kinds of things that, oh my gosh. I tell you what. And I laugh about it now because it's silly, young, high school stuff. But if they only had any idea of how it impacted my life, it was not cool. Not cool at all. But got through it, and I continued to raise all 3 of my babies for many, many years. And then here I was, my kids were grown, and now I was faced with having to make friends again. The one thing that I was not good at. I didn't want to have to make people like me or let them see a side that they chose not to see. They saw whatever side they wanted to see, and I just let them think that and kind of walked a different direction. And that's how I had handled things in my life. But at this next stage, that wasn't working. And I needed a way to connect with humans. And express myself. And and they maybe didn't understand me or know me, but that didn't mean I was a bad person. And I just had to figure out how to navigate life. So I went on this journey and started figuring out, how do I live as a woman who is a mother and still is a mother and still wants to be here for her children when they need her and want her support, but isn't overbearing and can have her own life, and can meet a man without traumatizing everyone else. I like to follow rules when I can, when they work and when they're in place for good reasons. And, marriage is one of those. I have learned the lesson of cheating, and I don't want to go that route ever again. I really, really don't. It is something that people do when they don't want to talk about the issues that are in play in their relationship. Okay? So you have to find, I'm not going to say you have to anything. For me, I've decided that cheating is way, 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 way too painful, because if you cross boundaries of marriage and the other person doesn't leave the marriage or whatever, you are left heartbroken. And there's nothing you can do about it, because you crossed a boundary, a line that was in the sand, right? And so I don't want to do that. That said, there are a lot of unhappy people in marriages. A lot of unhappy people in marriages. That the clock is just ticking. They're either going to finally have the conversations that they need to repair their marriage, or move apart from it, realizing that there's something better out there for them and we are given this life to live and we should live it happy. Or they're going to eventually get caught up in addictions or cross those boundaries of cheating like I did. All right, so I believe that we need to think about the way our marriages are constructed and talk about, is it still the right way, or is there a better way that we can approach marriage? Because personally, I want marriage again. I look for that commitment from a partner. However, I want a commitment for a partner that stays active and evolving and reviewed. Not just we get married and then we do act however we want for the rest of our life and assume that, well, you married me, you're fucking stuck with me. Pardon my mouth. I don't see it that way. I actually think that marriages need to be under review on an annual basis, like our taxes. We review our taxes annually, and how are we doing financially? We should also be reviewing love annually. How are we doing in our marriage? Is our home happy? Are our children happy? What are we, the love side? We should be reviewing that just like we review the finances. That's my humble opinion. I do believe that. I believe that solves for the problem of feeling like someone has stole your man or your woman, or because yes, I was a cheater, and I'm not proud of that label, because that label shows that that I did not handle the things within my marriage properly before stepping out and trying to find that emotional fulfillment somewhere else. So in my book, it feels like it was a failure on my part, right? That I wasn't handling the things in my marriage, and so I took the easy way out. And I don't want to be that person. I will say that no matter what anyone else thinks of me, it wasn't from lack of trying. I did try to have those conversations, and I did do marriage counseling for many, many years. It still doesn't make it okay, but and I knew that my husband only wanted to get married once, and that put even more pressure on me, because I felt like I was taking a dream away from him, and I didn't want to do that. But at the same time, I didn't want to sacrifice my happiness either, right? And so I have some regrets about how I handled it, and for crossing the lines and not handling things in an order that was more socially acceptable. And also, because I handled things in a way that wasn't more socially acceptable, I gained some valuable wisdom in ways that I think that we can help our marriage structures and make them better for couples. And to keep couples engaged with each other and working partnerships. If you're scared to have your love reviewed annually, well, maybe you should be, right? I see that as a way to really encourage couples and families to have the conversations that need to be had. Is everyone in the household happy? Who needs what? What do we need? Do we need more resources? Do we need more experiences? Do we need more lessons? What do we need in this house to grow and be stronger? And I think we should be running our homes much like we would run a business. Leadership doesn't just start in the office. Leadership starts at home. And are not stable in our leadership with our family, we certainly are not going to be stable in our leadership in the workplaces. And so, although it might seem strange that I'm working from my bed, this is an actual tactic for me in saying that leadership starts at home. It starts from the comfort of your deepest, darkest thoughts and desires and wants and wishes in life that help navigate us. And if you can't address the way that you're navigating life and why, then you'll never master your leadership. I had to be able to address, why was I running up against this friction with women who I desperately wanted as friends, and I was in this constant competition with over love, right? And I didn't want that. In fact, I had multiple times in my life where there was a woman that I adored her man, and I would have loved for him to have eyes for me, but he didn't. He had eyes for her, and that made me love her all that much more, because a guy that I was interested in would dote over her and talk about her in beautiful ways. And that made me connect to the woman. And they don't know that, of course, but I don't want to compete with women for their man. I only want a man that wants me back, right? So I found myself in this this wonderful, scary stew of, how do I become friends with women and not compete with, but compete with women to find the right man. I believe there's a right match for every human, and it's just a matter of finding them, right? Just getting to know people along the way and finding those people that really mesh well and connect with us in what we're doing. So I don't know, I'm getting a little bit lost in my train of thought. Perhaps I should have taken some notes and followed an outline. But I was just excited about recording from my bedroom and talking about how we should visualize what we really want in life, and make sure what we're fighting for is what we really want, or if we're just fighting for the principle of things, right? Because I've found that in my life. Like, why am I fighting for this? Oh, yeah, that doesn't make so much sense anymore. So, as I was hiking across Spain, let's circle back around to get back on track with my thoughts here. When I was hiking across Spain, I was really just figuring out, what do I want in life? And I want a partner who wants to explore this big, beautiful planet with me and launch business because it's fun, but launch business that makes a difference, right? And launch business that improves people's lives and perspectives, and heals heartbreak. And one of my passions is mental illness and helping people who struggle with it, because I have struggled with mental illness, and it is painful. It's so very painful. And for anyone to feel like they don't have the right to breathe air on this planet, or that's so wrong, and we need to help those people. And and show them that there's room on this planet for everyone, and that everyone has a purpose and a gift to provide their family lineage, and that if we just take time to get to know someone and ask questions and unassume, that we can learn a lot, and empowering others does nothing but empower yourself as well, because in the divine matrix everyone has their perfect place. So if we are hanging on to or refusing to let go of something that doesn't serve us, we're actually only hurting ourselves. We're hurting ourselves and others. We're backing up the system like a plumbing problem. So the sooner that we can accept our own truths and move in a way that feeds our soul, the sooner that happens for everyone. And I do believe in reaching this utopia. I do believe that is where we are heading, and the state of consciousness that we are heading to on this planet is about love, and I think we can get there. I really, really do. So take time to figure out, what is it that sets your soul on fire? Are you someone that likes to travel and explore the planet? Are you someone that likes to stay more secluded to one area and just get to know it really well? Are you an emotion person? Are you a rule following person? Are you what is your thing? What is your I like to think about our soapbox, those things that we have a soapbox about, that we could just lecture someone forever about. Those soapbox moments, they're usually tied to our childhood traumas or things like that. Those are also tied to our purpose, okay? When you start to see the little kernels of seeds, the things that caused you struggle from when you were young until now, you will see where your purpose is, and what your path is in this lifetime. And for me, a lot of that centers around sexual trauma and mental illness. And I think as I have reviewed my life and the life of others that I've been close to, I think it's just a matter of men and women coming to an understanding of what our needs are, so that we can be there and be better support for each other, right? Being able to talk about what we need in our relationships from our partners, so that we aren't stepping out. I was the woman that stepped out, and in some cases the men are stepping out, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that we recognize the need for growth as a species, a human species, and understanding the needs of men and women, so that we can be what we need to be for each other, and have less pain, and hurt each other less. And we can use our voices to communicate and establish where our roadblocks are. Have those courageous conversations. Like, for example, with my ex-husband and I knew he never wanted to be divorced. He made that very clear when we got together. And I didn't either. I didn't want to be divorced a second time. I mean, he was my second marriage. So, when I reached the point of feeling like I wanted a divorce, I also felt like I was ripping his dream away from him. And that was hard for me because I didn't want to do that. But I also owed it to myself to know that I was worth a value as well, and that the life that I wanted to live mattered as well. And that just because he only wanted to be married once didn't mean that I had to live unhappy the rest of my life because he didn't want to do the things that I wanted to do, you know. So I realized that I had had some courageous conversations with him, and I had tried to go to counseling, but that I could have done more. And that I shouldn't feel bad for having left the marriage. But I do regret not fully walking through the process of divorce before moving on with my life emotionally with another human. I have paid my dues and my costs for crossing that boundary. It was painful. And I learned a very valuable lesson. And I also know that sometimes things happen out of order, and they happen out of order so that we can illuminate issues. And I believe there's an opportunity for us to be better at marriages and what we expect in them, and how we can keep them healthy and happy. So can we just blame the cheaters? I mean, you can if you want to. I admit that I did that. If you want to just blame me, but does that mean I was the whole problem in the marriage? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It means that there were conversations that needed to happen and pivots that needed to happen, that we needed to address. And so I can take the blame if that makes others feel better, but that really isn't the core of the problem. And because I went through and experienced that, I am having the courage to talk about the true problems in marriages, and it's communication, and being able to talk about the things that you really need to talk about. What are your reasons for still being in a relationship? Are you happy? Or are you doing it for societal reasons, for show? Because everyone thinks that you should still be married, or because you 30 years ago made a commitment. We don't always know everything that's going to happen in a life, and we have to be able to evolve and adapt. And if our constructs of marriage are limiting us from doing that, is that in our best interest? Just food for thought, I guess. I don't have the right answer. I want personally to find a forever partner. I want to find that one person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life until I die with. I don't want to go through a divorce again. I want to go through a relationship that's strong and healthy, and um, we can make it through anything because we can sit down and talk about anything. If that's, I'm feeling sexually interested in this person because they're engaging my mind and you and I haven't been connecting, I want to be able to have those conversations so that we can handle it before it's a problem. I think if you stay in love, you don't risk losing love. And that's my goal for next round, I guess, is finding that love and finding a way to stay in love with each other, in love with life, in love with opportunity and making a difference, and building Monopoly. I don't know, just play. I believe work and play can all be intermingled together. So you figure out what that vision is for your life, where you see your purpose and your value. I see mine talking to people about emotions, helping them work through their emotions and their authentic leadership, and how that will steer their life and navigate their choices, and do it in a way that's delicate. But change is always a transition for people. If you can just remember, so I used to teach the change cycle in the corporate America, and it doesn't matter if it's just this little bitty, maybe you got a flat tire in your car that morning. You're going to go through this change cycle, and it's absolutely natural. So let's think about this example. You go to your car, you're expecting to hop in your car and you go to work, right? But you hop in your car and you have a flat tire. And immediately it's like anger. You go into, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm going to be late for work. I can't afford this right now. Whatever, all of these things come up. Or I have my white dress shirt on. I don't want to get grease on me. Anything. All of these things start rushing in our mind of why this is inconvenient and shouldn't be happening to us. Right? That's the first part of the change curve. This change happened, and so we escalate our mood a little bit, our anger and excuses, and then we kind of reach this peak where it's like, all right, well, it happened. Let me call AAA, or let me call this repair shop, or change it myself, or whatever we've got to do. So we've reached that point at the top of the hill, like, all right, it happened, I've got to deal with it, I'm dealing with it. So then pretty soon you're getting your tire fixed and you're on the road back to work. So you're on the downhill climb of this change curve, and pretty soon you're back at work or at your meeting or at your appointment, and your day is back on track, business as usual, almost as if it didn't even happen, right? So that change curve happens. If it's a flat tire, if it's a job loss, if it's a divorce, if it's empty nesting, if it's a button falls off of your shirt in the morning, it doesn't matter how big the change is. We cycle through emotions, and being able to get yourself through that emotional roller coaster is the best thing that you can ever do for yourself. So look at it practically. What is this showing me? What is this doing for me? How can I breathe through it and get through it? And maybe that flat tire made you meet the person that came out to help you fix it, who connected you with a dance team, and now you have a whole new circle of friends. I mean, it could be anything. Look for that seed of value that moment gave you, whatever it is, and work through it, because change does happen. It's meant to happen. It's natural evolution. And it is meant to strip away old to make way for better, newer things that are in alignment with your path. So you have to allow it. And the more graceful we get in our change curve, the more we allow the beautiful things to come into our life, and we can accept the gifts that they are. I'll give you an example. When my son, he introduced me to this new girl, and I have to be honest, I was not in a good space mentally. I don't think I was ready for my kids to go through this empty nesting and to not need their mama anymore. I'm not sure. But I didn't handle that meet so well. And at first, I thought this woman was out to hurt my son. And I'm not proud of feeling that way at all. Not proud of that at all. Luckily, after coming back on my healing journey and really getting to know this girl, I see the beautiful gift that God gave me with her. And she's like, oh, she's so perfect for him in so many ways. And then the baby the grandbaby that came, oh my goodness. So my point is, sometimes when change comes our way, if we're not ready for it, it can feel scary and we want to reject it. And then we see just how beautiful it is. So if we can catch ourselves early in the change process and think, okay, wait a minute, this is probably for my highest good. What is this? We might be able to handle it more gracefully, because I'm telling you, this woman has brought so many gifts to my life, and I tried to reject her when she first came in, and goodness. Well, we learn. We live and we learn. That sometimes, we just need to open up our eyes and embrace the life that's all around us, and not get so caught up in the little things that aren't working out, because if they aren't working out, they're not meant to work out. And if they are working out and you're running from them, why are you running from them? Start answering those questions. So anyways, just some tidbits from Child Bella Leadership this morning about vision and getting clear on what your vision is, and accepting change when sometimes you're not quite ready for it, but knowing that it's always here for our highest good, and we just have to find that kernel, that seed of hope in that change or in that transition, and then move with that flow. So hopefully that makes sense. I feel like I rambled a little bit this morning. Maybe I need to create speaking notes and keep myself on topic, but I just wanted to ad lib a little bit today, let you see the view outside, and well, I'm going to get busy working on some of the other spaces in this apartment so that as I have more leadership content, you can get views from other spaces. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I don't. I'm just right now. I am just enjoying this view and the next leg of my journey, not knowing what it has to bring, but knowing that I'm embracing it with a childlike joy and play and zest for life. And hopefully everyone else does the same, because we could use peace on earth, don't you think? Peace between men and women, and women and women, and men and men. And yeah, we could just use peace, love, happiness, and leadership, starting with ourselves. If we can't lead ourselves, we certainly can't lead a team of others. But when you know who you are and you have zero doubt in your purpose on this planet and what you're meant to do, there's no one that can cover up that light. You're illuminated. Once you see your purpose, you're illuminated, and no one can cover that light. They can help you expose your light, and that's what I hope to do. I hope to help others expose their light. Talent development. Everyone has their talent, whatever it is, and once you find it, you can express it to others and live your dream life day by day. We are all rock stars on this planet, diamonds meant to be polished and shine for the world to see. So take care of yourself, polish your presence and your practice, use your shatter as your ladder, and spread hope, peace, love on this planet. That's what we're here for. Yeah, we're in God's garden. We're all in it together. When you win, I win. When I win, you win. So let's support each other, okay? And take care. Peace, love, happiness, always. Heather here.